The White House Correspondents Dinner shooting. Suspect is set to be arraigned, as we mentioned. He's going to be arraigned on and given federal charges.
This comes as the White House reveals new details about a possible motive.
Todd Pyro is here with the details. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning to all three of you. The accused gunman expected to face federal charges for now in what is just the latest close call for the president. In federal court today, we do expect at least two initial charges, one using a firearm during a crime of violence and two, assault on a federal officer with a dangerous weapon, with more expected to be on the way. Now, here's what we know about the suspect, identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen of California. On Saturday night, he ran past a Secret Service checkpoint in the hotel lobby and was taken down unharmed. Investigators say he was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and a number of knives, and that he was a guest at the Washington Hilton, which has played host to this dinner and several other high-level D.C. events for decades. Law enforcement sources now working to determine a motive, believing he set out to target the Trump administration.
As far as motivation, we are still looking into that. It appears he was targeting members of the administration. There's things that we're looking through right now to help us understand what his motivation was, to the extent that it's written down somewhere. We're talking to witnesses who knew him, and we'll be doing that. Law enforcement work through the night, and they'll work through the day and continue to work to figure out what happened.
The White House revealing he allegedly had a manifesto that backs up that claim. He also allegedly shared a number of anti-Trump and anti-Christian posts on social media, with the New York Post reporting that those posts got more aggressive when U.S. support for Ukraine waned. And we're also learning that after the shooting, family members of the suspect allegedly told authorities that he frequently made political statements and said he, quote, planned to do something. Meanwhile, President Trump is still pressing for the dinner to be rescheduled in the next 30 days. Back to you.
See if they could do that.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I know. Jackie Heinrich says it's not impossible. I mean, do you do it the same venue? You do it a different venue? You know, we have the guest list. That's all set.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Todd.
you so much, Todd. Securing the area where the president will be needs to be the top priority. He's been praising, law enforcement. Obviously, they do a great job. And this is really hard when you have a hotel, right? Because this guy just ran through security. But going forward, do we need to start sweeping the entire hotel, checking every hotel room, making sure there are 2 or 3 checkpoints before you actually get into the hotel?
I mean, it's kind of hard because it's a private institution. The hotel has discretion over their facility, and it's not the United States government that has authority over it. Now, if they decided they're going to shut down the whole hotel, then I guess that's a business venture that they can work on. But I think that was the problem. There have been complaints for years about this particular location. And although we all on the couch support the men and women in blue, the president obviously supports the men and women in blue. It was a massive leadership failure when it comes to this situation. Multiple shots fired. I mean, going to the beginning of it is that shots are fired and the guy is not hit, not one time.
What did you think about security? You were there, Brian.
Well, it was terrible. It was terrible from the standpoint of I think the Wall Street Journal, the sourcing on this, provides the best outlook. They provided security for an army or a militia from the outside perimeter if a force was coming in, but inside of the hotel, they just weren't equipped. I mean, the guy took stairs down, went around the escalators, and made his way there. According to the president, during his interview last night, he made it 45 yards. I mean, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, in terms of the guy himself, I mean, he feels as though, and all these attackers seem to have the same mantra: I have to do this for the future. I have to do this for the country. And he's a radical, no kings guy. That was taking weapons classes and learned how to use multiple weapons. He had a rifle. He said, I want to use buckshot in order not to hurt that many people. He says he wanted to go for every Trump official except Kash Patel. That's bizarre. But it's very similar to the other shooters. If you look at the Luigi Mangione and others, well, this healthcare system, I have to do this. I got to stop Trump because he's a fascist. And, you hear the officials say, he's a threat to democracy. So they feel like they are going to be martyrs. This guy's saying, well, I'm going to ruin my life, but I have to. I have no choice. So that's how twisted people are. But that's a lot of the rhetoric that's coming out. It's no longer, I disagree on the border. It's no longer, I disagree with the military buildup. It's no longer, I disagree with the big, beautiful bill. It is fascist, democracies in jeopardy, our country's under threat. And this, I'm not even paraphrasing. I am actually quoting.
Ainsley, when you heard that he was, I'm just curious because, you obviously mentally deranged, but teacher of the month?
I know.
To think that someone was teaching the kids on one day and then planning to go after the president and the cabinet.
Yeah, good point. He worked for a company called C2 Education, and they obviously have put out a statement saying, we don't condone violence. We were not aware, that this was going on, but they did give him Teacher of the Month in December of 2024. This company, when your children are in high school, many people will hire tutors to help them to get into college, to help them study and SATs and to help them with their applications. And that's apparently what he was doing. And his students said that he was normal, he was friendly, generally very intelligent. But then what his family's saying, because Todd Blanche is saying his family said that, he was planning to do this. And he had said very political comments that were very controversial.
You know what's interesting? I know you do all this work with law enforcement, right, and profiles. So there used to be a time where people say, well, who did this? Well, you expect a guy dropped out of school, in and out of prison, 52 prior arrests, let out, no parents at home. And, well, society dropped the ball. America is... But you have a guy here who seems to have everything. The highest of education. He's got a job. He's able to live with his parents. Seems like a middle-class lifestyle. And so with that we know of, criminal background, except for he goes to protests and he has certain political beliefs. It's much harder to find guys like this. And much harder to find guys like that as opposed to, guys who are in and out of prison, keep an eye on him. We have detectives looking at him. I don't know who's looking at him unless the family notice things and that comes out later.
The other twisted part about that, and I can't wait for our analysts to be on this morning to talk about is, so obviously a sick guy, anybody that wants to do this is deranged. But if you go through the manifesto, he goes through wanting to give maximum damage on the administration and officials, but doesn't want to harm civilians. He even says that he doesn't want to harm law enforcement, that he wanted to aim for the vest of the cops. He wanted to make sure that the bullets were not going to be bullets that damaged the law enforcement. So how do you go from being a law and order guy to being a vigilante and taking up arms against the administration?
Yeah.
All right.
Look, it's happened 3 times. We need to sweep, we need to secure, and make sure this doesn't happen again. And I loved that the Democrats are even saying, when are we going to stop trying to kill our president?
Yeah, just say, I want to win the midterms. Don't say he's a fascist, democracy's in the ballot. Enough with the extremist language on both sides. It's just politics. Try to win your district, try to win your seat, try for your party to get the majority. That's fine. Be resourceful, raise money. You don't have to make the other person the enemy. The world's not going to end if the other person wins. Also, I just think it's also important to point out, nobody panicked. No. I noticed nobody screamed. No one said, if they started running for the exits, people would have gotten killed. We've seen that in stadiums before. 2,100 people in a place that probably should have had 100,000.
Even the president said he wasn't worried. Well, and then they were making decisions behind the stage, like, should we go back out? Should we continue the dinner? But they didn't know if there were more individuals with guns or if he was acting alone. Turns out they do think he was a lone wolf, but they weren't sure at the time. So then the president goes immediately to the White House, does this press conference and says, we'll have another dinner within probably 30 days.
I think in the room at the time, Ainsley, I got to be honest, when I heard it, I knew it was a gunshot. I looked at someone across the table and I was like, that's a gunshot. I heard the second one. I'm like, that's definitely a gunshot. But I think at the room at the time, many people didn't know that it was a gunshot because at the same time you hear the gunshot, you hear the trays as like a server had dropped something. And so it was kind of cloudy.
And to see people run in, I'm like, oh, are they chasing somebody?
Yeah.
So I go, okay, where is the shooter? Because you see these, clearly Secret Service, they're dressed.
Yeah, they're all going to their cabinet.
Then again, I'm thinking, if you're a shooter, maybe you're dressed like the Secret Service.
100%.
So I'm saying to myself, are they chasing somebody else? And then I look over, and everybody's down on the dais.
What they're also saying at the time, Brian,
stood up.
that they do you have a sight on him? And so you hear the agents saying, we don't see him. They were talking about the cabinet members. What they were trying to find.
Right.
The
I just
members.
remember that.
Yeah, but they kept saying we don't have an eye. You got multiple elected officials that have details all over.
I heard both of y'all throughout the weekend. Excellent job. I'm so sorry y'all were there, and I was, we were obviously worried. A lot of our coworkers were there. And you, for people who didn't hear you over the weekend, really quickly tell us what happened to you after you heard the gunshots. What was your reaction?
Erica Kirk was 2 seats away from me, and she went low, and she was traumatized, just like you would think, right? She was under. Tulsi Gabbard was right next to me, so they grabbed her almost immediately, freeing me up to go up, and I went over to the higher table to see if I could see behind the dais at the time, and then with Brett Baer and Suzanne and everybody else, they realized, they go, this is over, you got to get out. And I thought the one thing that was interesting is they brought us back to the Fox room, which was right off, was the pre-party. And while sitting there, we had 2 agents come in, armed up, and they just say, what are you doing here? We go, well, we're wondering what's going to be happening. He go, you got to go. And we went to go out the door. He goes, no, there could be somebody, there's somebody hiding.
They didn't know yet.
They didn't know. So come out the kitchen. So they throw open the doors, which they weren't open. They just figured it out, boom, and we go out the kitchen. And we got out of there quick. But there was a sense that they were going to continue the show. And I'm thinking, should we leave? Because the buzz is, don't go anywhere. President wants to come back.
It was a little confusing, guys. You got to remember, there's multiple different agencies that are on the ground, and their comms are not connected together. And so you had information flow. It's going to come out when the assessment is out. Again, the president still has confidence in the Secret Service, but the more and more that comes out about this situation shows that we definitely need to revisit.
Well, I'm just thankful that everyone is okay and that nobody died during this, and I'm glad that y'all are okay, guys. Yep. Also, this brings up another issue, and President Trump talked about it yesterday on 60 Minutes, saying this is exactly the reason why we need to have the ballroom built. A federal judge halted the building of the ballroom back in March.
But they're
said
still doing it, by the way.
still build the bunker, but not the ballroom. And now the president's saying, and a lot of senators and representatives are now saying, this is why we need to get the ballroom back up and running, because at least we can secure the White House. Being in a hotel for a big event like this, especially when the rhetoric is so hot around our country, and we've had 3 attempts on his life, then maybe the ballroom is the best option so that we can keep our president secure. And even John Fetterman agrees. This is what he posted on X. Brian, you want to read it?
He says, we were there, front and center. That venue wasn't built to accommodate an event with the line of succession for the U.S. government. After witnessing last night, drop the TDS and build the White House ballroom for events exactly like these. And add to this, we're about to have the king. The king's going to be in a tent. Come on. Will you understand just because President Trump is going to do it, it doesn't mean it is bad. In fact, the person with most equipped to put together a ballroom that's going to last for generations is one of the premier real estate moguls of our generation, and he just happens to be president. Here he is.
I've been in that room many times, but it's had difficulty in the past, and the new one is set not to have that kind of thing. All of the traps are knocked out, and this was designed at the highest level by the top military and Secret Service people. It's really it's a joint venture, really, and presidents have wanted it for 150 years just because they wanted a big space, but military and Secret Service have wanted it for many years, and I'm getting it built. And the one good thing is that now everybody knows how badly needed it is.
I guess for me, the ballroom obviously needs to be built, but
in the meantime, that's 2 years.
Right. It's going to take, but we still got to secure the event outside of the ballroom. Every single event that the president or cabinet members are not going to be government events. Like, for example, I'm not sure this Correspondents Association dinner could have been held at the ballroom if it was built. It's a private organization. Are we going to can we only protect federal buildings at this point? What a disgrace as a country.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got to do better.
But you know what? I mean, you have these crazy people, and you have to protect our president against this. And like he said over the weekend, it is probably the most dangerous job. And is it going to be an inconvenience? Yes. Look after 9/11, what we had to go through, or what we still have to go through at the airports. Ziploc bags, the
Right.
X amount of ounces per, all our hairspray, throw all that stuff just to make sure we're safe on the airplanes. And is it a pain in the rear end? Yes. But is it worth it? Yes. And now, because of all of these assassination attempts and what we saw, where now the liberal media, the conservative media, everyone is seeing this because everyone was a part of it. It happened at a media event. How important it is just to make sure we keep our president safe.
But I love the fact the president started giving the facts out. It doesn't stop the conspiracy theories, but hopefully
100%.
squelches them. All of a sudden I'm hearing, well, the whole thing was this staged?
It's unbelievable.
Was it staged so the president's approval ratings can go up?
Right.
It's insane. Nothing could possibly have been staged.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.